What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Frickin' Sports. I got my guy Bryson again. So as we all remember, that the SEC a while ago they announced that they were moving to 9 conference games and they were going to go to three annual opponents. Now, it was weird because it was supposed to when this podcast release, which is tomorrow, from when we are recording this. It was supposed to release then, but On3 leaked it today. Not sure if that's the real thing, but we're gonna compare what I would have liked to seen to what actually got released. And yeah. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, let's excited to get right into it. I've got a couple of strong opinions, some strong differences here, so excited to get into it.
I mean it to be honest, when Oklahoma and Texas moved in, it would
Hmm.
be hard to keep a bunch of the traditional rivalries together. As I went through this, I was like,
For sure.
man, what am I going to add to Oklahoma and Texas? Like, I have no idea.
Hmm.
So, yeah, that's my thought. But, yeah, let's start off with you have the On3 list, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah,
Okay,
so
let's
first up,
start.
we're going alphabetically.
Yeah,
Okay, so first up, Alabama, and their three. Do you want me to say their three
yeah.
before you? Okay, so yeah, the three that they have are Auburn,
hmm
Tennessee,
hmm
and Mississippi State.
Okay, I had Auburn, Tennessee, which I agree with those two, and then I
Hmm.
had LSU. I
Okay.
think I think those games are always really good, so I would have really liked to see that every year. And they've kind of always kind of felt like a rivalry. Uh, yeah. So
Yeah, it
what
was
would
really
you
good.
have liked to
It was
see?
really good to see Tennessee there. Mississippi State, like honestly, in a perfect world, like that'd be Georgia, but I understand like Georgia's got other rivalries with other schools that they need to like preserve more so, like Florida, for example. And Auburn, it seems like a given. My Campbell, my roommate, he actually had a take that OU, OSU, kind of the same way with Alabama, Auburn, like how it's so like staggeringly one-sided that it shouldn't even be a rivalry anymore. He doesn't think Auburn and Alabama should even play consistently, but general consensus being Auburn and Alabama should play every year.
Auburn just hasn't held its end up of the bargain, but obviously it's had its moments. The kick
Hmm.
six,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
like when Cam Newton was at Auburn, like really tight because that's also when Saban, but Saban dominated the SEC, so like Auburn
yeah.
not keeping its end up of the bargain for that rivalry this past uh in the 21st century, that
Hmm.
makes a ton of sense. But yeah, so I guess we'll move on to Auburn, right? Is that the next on the list?
Next one would be Arkansas.
Okay. What is
So
Arkansas?
Arkansas, they have Missouri, Texas, and LSU.
I had Mizzou, Texas A&M, and LSU because
Oh, okay.
because Texas A&M and Arkansas always playing Jerry World each year or
Gotcha.
have since A&M has joined the SEC. So
Right.
I think
Yeah, I
that's something I would have liked to have kept going on, but you know, I don't hate that honestly. I don't hate Texas there.
I definitely agree. I don't hate Texas there. I actually personally would have preferred LSU not to be there. I think replace Texas A&M with LSU. Now, I might be like showing how not aware I am of rivalries and stuff, but like as Arkansas LSU, is that a big rivalry that
Yeah,
I'm not aware of?
they
Okay.
have a It's like I think they call it the boot trophy or something because like it's in the shape of a boot. You know how else Louisiana has that like weird. I can
Yeah.
send you a picture later, but yeah,
Okay. Well, mostly I guess that's coming from just I wanted OU to play LSU consistently, and obviously we didn't get that matchup. So I think that's kind of partially where that's coming from as well. But yeah, I guess if they have a long-standing rivalry. That's fair.
Yeah. So now we're going to Auburn. I jumped the
Yes.
gun
Now
at
to
first, but
Auburn. Yeah. So Auburn, they've got Alabama, as we mentioned, Georgia, and then Vanderbilt.
okay. You said Alabama, Georgia, and Vanderbilt,
Yes,
right?
sir.
I said Alabama, Georgia, and Oklahoma.
Okay.
So
Tell me more about
that
the
was
Oklahoma
because
pick.
I didn't know what to do with, like I said, like there is when I got to the end of making my list, I was like, I don't know where to put these, like give Oklahoma and Texas their last spot, so I just threw Auburn in
Hmm.
there because they
Okay.
still have a spot open. So yeah, but I don't hate that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not mad at at the Vanderbilt pick. I think Oklahoma also could have made sense. Like that could be a decent pick, but yeah,
I
nothing really
mean,
to say there
Vandy
for me.
seems a little weird, but like it's nothing. Like I don't have a gripe with it at all. So
Yeah. I think that's probably one of those that they kind of get to the bottom of their list as well, of like after they get the games that they need to happen, they're like, well, Auburn and Vanderbilt both need to play another game. So
yeah. So what is next on the list?
yeah, next up we have Florida. I think these were pretty straightforward. Georgia, South Carolina, and Kentucky.
I had that too.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think those three were obviously Georgia, obviously South Carolina, and I figured Kentucky would also take that third spot. I just the rivalries there, the history that they all have between those four schools, I thought was just kind of blatant.
I mean, if there was one that like I would have, if there was one that in there that I would have liked to see, but I'm not mad that it's not in there, would have been Tennessee, but
Hmm.
I have no problem with that at all because it
Yeah,
matches mine. So yeah,
yeah, there you go. Well, what you went you 1 for 4 right now? If you're keeping track at
yeah,
home.
yeah, yeah, I am. So are we moving to Georgia? I don't have my list in alphabetical
Oh,
order,
you're good.
so
Yeah. So next one's Georgia, and Georgia, I guess we've talked about two of these so far. Georgia has Auburn, Florida, and South Carolina.
okay. I'm
Yeah.
on a
What do you think
hot
about?
streak. Nailed
Oh,
it.
okay. There you go. I see. Now again, lack of ball knowledge here. I was surprised not to see Tennessee or Alabama. I thought one of those two, or maybe even like Mississippi State, one of those three is making that list. Like, tell me why, like Auburn or South Carolina over any of those schools.
Yeah, right. I think Tennessee over South Carolina or Auburn makes sense, but I think Tennessee just I guess they just get a lot of hate from everyone because it seems like
Yeah,
we're putting them into a lot of these spots, so
that's true.
they can't obviously dish Tennessee out to everyone, but I think Georgia and Tennessee, I mean, I guess it's not really a rivalry because Georgia has beaten them 9 straight times now. So,
Right.
yeah.
I
But
just
bang
yeah,
on getting
just
it
love
right.
those games though. I just love those games. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have 2 for 2 on these last ones. Yeah, next up we have Kentucky,
Mm.
and their games are Florida, Tennessee, and South Carolina.
Darn it. I'm
Oh, you missed on
Vanderbilt.
South Carolina? Okay. Yeah, why'd you have Vanderbilt there instead of South Carolina?
But I don't know. I didn't. I was like, I don't know. Put some in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have too much of a gripe with South Carolina. I think that's good. I think, historically also Vanderbilt and Kentucky are not great football programs compared to the rest of the SEC. And you kind of want to keep away from a lot of those maybe bottom feeders having to play each other every year
Yeah.
because it's just not good football that's going to be happening every single year. So
And it'll affect the ratings. Yeah. I mean,
for sure.
Vandy's gotten better, but Kentucky
Yeah,
just looks like
Vandy is on the come up, but like Kentucky, it's a basketball school. They need to be in the
Mark
ACC. Like,
Mark Stoops is just he's suffering over there.
mm, yeah, yeah. Next up, we have LSU, and they're playing Arkansas, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M.
See, I had Alabama for in
Okay,
place of Texas A&M because
right.
those are always, like I said, those are always tight. But I give it Texas A&M since they have entered, they have always played, and those have always been tight. Like they've had, I think, still the highest scoring game when it went to like 8 overtimes or something. It was like
Oh
72,
wow.
74. It was like a crazy game in Kyle Field a few years, I think it was 7 years ago, but they always seem like really tight games. And so I understand that one, but it seems
Mhm.
like a forced rivalry. Um,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I hear you there. Do you have anything else
Do,
you want to say there before? Oh,
do
go
you
ahead.
have any thoughts on what any of those?
I mean, yeah, I mean, you kind of told me more about the Arkansas pick, so I can respect that. Ole Miss, obviously, I thought that was a good one. And then, yeah, A&M, I think I agree with you. It is kind of a forced thing. Like, I don't really see a lot of A&M and LSU clashing like on social media and stuff like that. Although I do love the fact that like those are two of like I would say like the hardest places to play, Kyle Field and Death Valley. I mean, those are some of the most intense environments in college football. So the fact that they're going to be going back and forth between those two every year, that's a lot of fun. So I like that.
Yeah, I agree. So I guess we can move on to the next one then.
Yeah. Next one is Mississippi State, playing obviously Ole Miss, and then Vanderbilt and Alabama.
Hold on. Well, you said Vanderbilt and Alabama.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, and Ole
Yeah.
Miss.
Okay. So I had Texas again. That was just one of those ones that I just threw in because I was like, I don't know what to do. So, but I
Mhm.
had Ole Miss and Vanderbilt. So
Okay.
again, another one of those bottom. Mississippi State has been one of those bottom feeder teams now. Obviously, they were kind of on the come up with Mike Leach, and then he unfortunately passed away. But
Mhm.
um, Mississippi State has seemed like to be in shambles since then, and so they're kind of a bottom feeder.
Yeah, I do think their best years are ahead of them. I think, they are improving with that win against Arizona State this year. That was, I think, pretty big for the program.
Yeah,
And I think as the years come, they're going to continue to grow in recruitment. And I think 10 years from now, they're going to be maybe like on the upper echelon of the SEC. So I do like the Alabama pick there. I think that'll be kind of a fun rivalry going forward, which I could see those games being very good. Not soon, but in the future.
yeah.
I'm buying Mississippi State. I'm buying that hype.
I know they are saying that they're going to revisit them like every 10 years or something to like see
Mm,
which ones that need to be configured differently. If it is
yeah,
like just not a rivalry, like I don't think they would do that to one that is like a permanent one because they did guarantee like OU Texas, like just say that Texas won all 10 straight.
hmm
I would cry my heart out. But like let's
right.
just say that happened. They would not take that away because that's
No,
been
you
like
can't.
one of the longest rivalries in the sport. So,
Yeah, top
yeah,
top two rivalry in college football, in my opinion.
I would agree. What do you have number one?
I think I have it number one. You can debate though. I think the debate is between Michigan, Ohio State, and OU Texas. People who are going to try and bring up the Iron Bowl, you're crazy. People who are going to try and bring up well, okay, actually, I have some respect for like Army, Navy. Like, if you want to throw that up there, I can give some respect to that. But anything outside of Ohio State, Michigan, I'm not listening to. Like, OU, Texas is just better.
I like to call it the Red River Shootout, but OU Texas,
Yeah,
like we just do call it OU Texas too. But Red
OU,
River
Texas.
Shootout is also a lot of fun to say.
Oh, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. Where would you? I know it's a little off topic. What would your like top three rivalries be?
I would say, listen, after watching the Border War again this year, that was a lot of
Mm,
fun. I
yeah,
I
it is a
wouldn't
lot of
say
fun
it's I wouldn't say it's I would say it's top five, but I would
for
not
sure.
say that, it's
Okay.
it's a but I would probably go. you again, you can make the case that it's either Red River Shootout or
The
Michigan
game.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
And I think that's honestly a coin flip. It's like a 1A, 1B, and
Yeah, I
then
agree.
yeah. I but I would throw the Iron Bowl up there as top three. I mean
You think
it
so?
not in modern, like not in the past 10 years it hasn't been,
Hmm.
but uh maybe I wouldn't even say Bedlam. I don't think
But
Bedlam
it's
really is
not
a
much of a
rivalry.
rivalry. I think if one team wins 75% of the time, it's kind of hard to call it a rivalry.
I
If they
mean,
weren't in state, it's just like I mean Tulsa OSU I think currently is a better rivalry than OU OSU.
also the thing when I said the border war, though that it is like 50-50, like on like
Hmm.
right there. Also, you gotta throw in the Lone Star Showdown. That's a pretty good
Yeah,
one. I mean, Texas
that's
dominates
fair.
that a little bit, and I hate to say that. You know, I hate to say that.
I know you do. Yeah.
As an OU fan and an A&M fan, like that grinds my gears. Like it's not just hating Texas from one school perspective; it's from
Hmm.
two. Like it's double the hate.
Yeah. And then the fact that they have the leg up in both of those.
So yeah, but let's get back on track and
Yes, sir.
go to
So next up we had Missouri, and Missouri's were Arkansas, Texas A&M, and OU.
I had that.
Yeah.
And I think when I talked with you, I said that I think Mizzou and A&M should have it because they came into the SEC together.
Yes.
And that was my reasoning behind that. And I do think that honestly doing that. And this also feels very uh Big 12-ish.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Like a very Big 12 vibe, which I do like. So
Yeah. I really enjoy. I think they nailed Missouri. I think if any school they got perfect, it was this one. I think Arkansas was an obvious pick. I love the Texas A&M pick. I think there's, with them both coming in at the same time. And then the OU, I feel like that group of four right there really does have like a Big Eight, Southwestern Conference, Big 12 kind of vibe. And I really like I think those are going to be competitive games, like all four of those every year. I think any four of those teams can beat one another on any given year. So
I mean,
it's going to
if
be
you would have
exciting
wanted to throw in Texas, I could have heard you out. That is like the other one that I would have said like I'll
right
hear you out, but yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
I
Yeah.
think they
So
nailed that one.
in that same vein, moving on to Oklahoma, we've got Missouri, which we talked about, Texas, obviously, and then Ole Miss.
That Ole Miss one is weird, but I don't hate
Yeah.
it. I have a cousin that goes to Ole Miss,
Okay.
so if anything, it just gives me more chances to talk crap to him, you know. So
There you go. Who did you have in that spot instead of Ole Miss?
I had Auburn, like I said when I did the
Oh, right.
yeah. So but both are kind of weird. So
Yeah, I mean, like, I actually kind of like Ole Miss. I was a big Jackson Dart fan last year, and now he's on my Giants, so even more of a fan. But I think it was kind of a weird game. Teams I maybe would have preferred more were like LSU. I even thought Mississippi State could be a fun one. Just kind of like, or even maybe like Arkansas. I thought any of those games could be
A&M,
interesting. A&M could have been interesting. I think having two Texas teams and Missouri would
yeah,
have kind of made it maybe like too geographical.
yeah.
Um, but I'm not mad at Ole Miss. It's just like maybe a little disappointing that we don't really have rivalries yet. Like haven't been here long enough to kind of have teams that I'm like, oh man, I want to go and beat this team. I do. Okay, I will say, Florida before we joined the SEC OU was always my favorite SEC team. So it was a small part of me hoping we get to play Florida. But given that we have essentially no history other than 2008 and their history with other teams, I didn't think that there was a chance that would even happen. But that was my pipe dream was that OU and Florida would be yearly games.
Also, I will say this out of just an OSU definitely probably doesn't want to hear this, but
Mhm.
when they said the playing the non-conference, you have to have one Power Four school, hoping they bring back Bedlam.
Mm.
But that's not up to OU's athletic director. I think we would love that because we
Mhm.
dominate it. But I mean, have we seen OSU right now?
I don't think anybody's seen OSU. I think we're seeing a shell of a team that puts on OSU's jerseys every week, but I don't think we've seen OSU around anywhere.
It's like we're watching high school football.
It really is. I mean, did you? I don't know. I'm sure you probably didn't. Did you watch the OSU Tulsa Hurricanes game?
No.
Campbell's a big Tulsa fan, and we watched that game, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to watch. It's embarrassing to see a coach who's been there for that long. I know we're talking about SEC schedules. I'm ranting about OSU. I apologize, but OSU is so bad, and Mike Gundy needs to go. Anyone responsible for that team just needs to be fired and gone.
I
And
mean, I
it's
mean,
just so
if you
bad.
remember when I told you that I went up for that UT Martin game, and I was like,
Yeah.
OSU looks bad. Like they don't
Hmm.
like that game was the score doesn't project how close it was, but it
Hmm.
was bad. Like it was a very close game. So
Yeah, that's just terrible. But yeah, we can move on to that next team, Ole Miss. So we just talked about OU, LSU, and Mississippi State.
I don't hate that at all.
Hmm.
I
What did you
I
have?
have I had South Carolina an Oklahoma spot, but um,
Okay,
LSU and Mississippi State, I had that, so I don't
for
hate
sure.
that at all.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have really any qualms with that. Kind of the same thing as the OU deal, where it's like those two were obvious, and it just they're creating OU Ole Miss rivalry, which I'm ready for.
I think it is weird because I think they again with OU and Texas coming in, it just the shuffling kind of
Hmm.
I think some of the original teams, like, the ones I nailed, like Georgia and Florida, like those they kind of were like, well, they are definitely a rival, they're definitely a rival, they're definitely a rival. Like
Hmm.
where it's multiple of them, it makes sense. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but going into that, the next team, South Carolina, is Georgia, Florida, and Kentucky. Did you get any of those?
I got Georgia and Florida.
Oh, okay. My bad. I, for whatever reason, thought you had South Carolina all over the place. And then you had Ole Miss as that other one
Yes.
instead of Kentucky. Okay. What would be your argument for Ole Miss over Kentucky there?
Um, Honestly, I do like Kentucky there, over Ole
Okay.
Miss a little more. Um, which because I think geographically they're both close.
Hmm.
Although you have like South Carolina, I would not say that recently. I mean, with Lenore Sellers, they have and Shane Beamer, they've definitely gotten better, but I
Hmm.
wouldn't say that they have always been a consistently good program. So,
No, by no means.
and Kentucky, we already trashed from Kentucky earlier, so.
Yeah. Man, Kentucky's so bad. It's sad. But yeah, I mean, I think those are pretty solid picks there. I don't have any problems with those.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, next up, another team. I think they nailed this one. Tennessee. They have Bama, Kentucky, and Vanderbilt.
No, bang, got
Yeah,
that one.
yeah. I think that's another one where it's just like those are the three, and you just kind of move on.
Again, I could have heard out Georgia. I could have heard out Florida.
Hmm.
I would not have had any problem if I would have seen that. I mean, maybe for Alabama, I would have had an issue with that one if they
Hmm.
swapped that one out for one of them. But Kentucky
Right.
or Vanderbilt, I would have heard that out.
Yeah. I will say, I think Tennessee is probably one of the biggest winners of this schedule release because Alabama. I mean, they're not getting better with Kalen DeBoer after having Nick Saban for so long. So like that's a team that's not going to be up to the standard that they've set. Kentucky, Vanderbilt. I know Vanderbilt we talked about is on the come up. Kentucky not looking good. Vanderbilt historically not very good. So I think Tennessee is probably the biggest winner of today with the opponents they got. They're probably looking at their hand and everybody else's, and they're feeling pretty well with themselves and pretty happy for the season to come. Like thinking that they can at least win two of those three games every single year, regardless of what those teams look like.
Honestly, I think it would have. I do think that your take on Alabama. I think following a legend like Saban, no one's gonna live up to that. Like he
Yeah.
won 7 national championships, 6 at Alabama. Like how are you supposed to follow that? Kirby Smart's only won 2. Like it's really hard. I think Kirby Smart is the next best, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't think he's ever going to reach 6. So it's a really tall task to follow, and I don't think anyone's ever going to meet that standard that Saban set. But
Yeah,
I think Alabama will continue to always get the talent that they always have. But yeah, it's
for
just
sure.
going to be not as dominant as we
Mm-hmm.
once saw. And also, it's a different era because there wasn't NIL when Saban was dominating, really. So,
Yeah, at least not publicly.
yeah. He was privately paying his players.
That ain't nothing wrong with that. Um, yeah, but moving on from Tennessee, next up they have Texas. And again, these ones pretty straightforward. Texas A&M, Arkansas, and OU.
Oh, wait. We're on Texas now, you said?
On Texas, yeah,
Yeah, okay. Sorry.
yeah,
Say
you're
it
good.
again.
Yeah, A&M, OU, and Arkansas.
Honestly, I do like obviously OU and A&M. I do like I
Right.
had Mississippi State, but I do like Arkansas, and
Yeah.
I think I think if Texas goes down there and to woo pig suey, it might get ugly real quick. I mean,
I think it's
at
an
winter
interesting game.
conference,
Hmm.
when we were at winter conference and we just see the woo pigs, I did not ever think that that was intimidating, and then I heard them say it, and I was like, no, I understand it now. It's a little
Yeah,
freaking.
yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I don't have any gripes with that list at all.
No, I think those
I
are pretty
think
good. That's about what I
I think
expected.
Texas is probably like probably honestly pretty happy with their list too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it sucks to say that with OU being on their list, but I think, you
It
know,
sucks for
I
me
mean,
having A&M and OU on that list, but
yeah,
yeah.
they knew OU and AM were going to be there, and so it's kind of just a toss up of who that other team's going to be. And getting Arkansas, I think, is a pretty good draw. I mean, really, you kind of expect them to get one of those second tier teams, and like instead of like a Georgia, Alabama,
I wouldn't have been
Auburn,
surprised if
because
they would have gotten Kentucky. I would not have been surprised.
right, because if they just kind of have to fill those spots with those other teams who don't have
No,
as
I'm just
historic
saying
rivalry.
that Texas, they're gonna get the cupcake. I mean, it
Oh
happened these
yeah,
past 2 years, so.
yeah, it's ridiculous, but that's how it goes.
So moving on then. So I'm guessing
Yeah,
it's
next up,
A&M.
yeah, of course A&M next. LSU, Missouri, and Texas.
So I had Arkansas, Texas, and Mizzou.
Hmm.
Um, we've already talked about Texas. We've already talked about Mizzou, and I think briefly when we went through Arkansas, I told you about why I liked A&M there. But
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, we kind of covered them, but yeah, as an A&M fan, how do you feel like looking at those three games, LSU, Missouri, Texas, like knowing you're going to play those three teams every year? What do you kind of feel?
I I think the one you probably feel the best about has to be Mizzou. Now Mizzou
Hmm.
has been building their program, and they've gotten significantly better each year. So it's not necessarily an easy slate, but I do like it.
Yeah,
Honestly.
definitely a tough three. But yeah, moving on to Vanderbilt, the last one. They've got Tennessee, Auburn, and Mississippi State.
I had Tennessee, Kentucky, and Mississippi State.
Gotcha.
But again, the Tennessee one is the one that makes the most sense. You could have thrown up
Hmm.
the other two. Again, I think they just kind of had to backfill with them.
For
Um,
sure.
yeah, I think, yeah. I mean, Vanderbilt has definitely been on a tear recently. I
Hmm.
think I root for them a little bit because I'm like, they were kind of the joke of the SEC for the longest time, and now they're coming up and they're like rowdy. And if OU had them on their schedule, I would be honestly scared.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a game like they feel like they can win any game. I don't think they're looking at any one game on their schedule and thinking like, oh, like yeah, we can't win that one. Like it's a scary team, a team who has nothing to lose because they're Vanderbilt. There's no prestige there where they're like, oh man, we should probably win this game. Like every game they win is good and a surprise. Any game they lose, it's like, well, yeah, it's Vanderbilt. Like you can't expect that much of them. So it's a scary team to have to play for sure.
Diego Pavia is a dog, dude. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I mean that whole team's really stepping up though around him too. It's not even just him, but yeah, even just him is like just been incredible.
and it's also funny to see that as we kind of went through some of these teams and then looking at the Big Ten and you're like, wow, like we are such a like the SEC is such a deep conference. Like there's like
Yeah.
there I mean not this season, but there's clearly a top one, like tier one, a
Mhm.
very wide tier two and like tier three and like a very minimalist Kentucky tier four.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I think those Big Ten teams, you have like Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan. I mean, not even Michigan this season, but like kind of those four. And then after that, it's a big fall off. I mean, I guess Indiana these last 2 years, you could throw Illinois, even though they just got spanked by Indiana by 50. Um, but I mean, I always try to listen to my friends. You take the bottom half of the SEC and the bottom half of the Big Ten and make a conference. The entire bottom half of the SEC is going to be the top of that conference. Like, no, there's no bottom six Big Ten team that's beating, in my opinion, Missouri or Arkansas or Mississippi State or Auburn. Like any of those teams win, like it's just not close. And I think as the years go on, we just can and SEC continues to those marginal teams like maybe like a Tennessee, OU, LSU, like just continue to grow and get better. It's just continue to prove the dominance of the SEC
Yeah, I think the Big Ten is very like top heavy.
for sure.
Like they basically just kind of are like Ohio State's like, oh, I get Northwestern, I get Rutgers, I get I get
Purdue,
I get a
Minnesota, like
high
yeah,
school, like let's go.
yeah.
Like
The school of the
they're
blind, yeah,
so like when I hear and people are like, well, the Big Ten has won the national championships. I'm like, because they're not all beating each other to a pulp. Like that's the
yeah.
thing about the SEC is we're all beating each other up. So
It
then
just means more.
we don't have a cakewalk to the end, and Ohio State's just sitting there pretty like I played high schools. Like let's play you guys.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a schedule of Northwestern, Purdue, Rutgers, like you playing those games and then coming in and against a Georgia team who's had to play Alabama and Tennessee and Auburn and Texas. It's just like, what are we doing? What are we talking about? Like these teams cannot be compared on the same level, like with the same amount of seriousness. Like, yeah, they're both 11-1 or 10-2. Those are not the same 11-1, 10-2. Those are very different.
Like you
So
can say that the top teams of the Big Ten are better than the top teams of the SEC, and I'll hear you out on that. But I will
for
not
sure,
hear you out on the Big Ten being a better conference than the SEC.
no,
And I'm
it's
not
really
even
not a
trying to be an
conversation.
SEC homer. It's just
Mhm.
objectively true.
No, I mean, even when OU was still in the Big 12 and the SEC was weaker, not having Texas and OU, like I was already in that same boat. Like, yeah, the SEC just is deeper. They just are better. It's just the way that it is. even when I was a Big 12 fan, it was like, oh man, like the Big 12 is so cool. It's so fun. Anybody can beat anybody. But now, like being surrounded in SEC culture, it's just so clear to see like this is just the better conference.
The Big 12 is like the SEC, just less talent.
Yeah, the little brother,
And then the ACC, like, we have no idea. Like,
just
they're
some
just there.
the weird cousin. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, because I see that timer clocking down.
Oh, ticking down. Yeah.
That is all for this video. Hope you subscribe, like the video, and comment if you have any disagreements with our list, but mostly the other list because mine was obviously the best. And I am objectively right all the time. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, see you next time. God bless. Deuces.